to 32, northwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour with higher gusts. Cloudy skies, flurries, light snow showers.
Good morning. Welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. It's great to have you along. We're just getting underway.
The Sioux Empire's interesting news talk station with the power of innovation.
And here we go.
Callow News Talk 1320, 107.9. The Doctor of Discernment is on the air.
I love the Greg Belfrage Show.
I've been listening to you for years, Greg. Thanks for all you do and keeping us informed.
You sound a little taller on radio.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense, no prescription required.
Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser. Americans play to win all the time.
I don't believe in it.
Good morning, my friend. The marketplace of ideas is open. It's great to have you along on this Tuesday morning, December 10th this morning. The suspect in this, the killing of the CEO of United Healthcare, pretty incredible. This news was breaking as I was getting off the air yesterday that man has been arrested, Luigi Mangione, and he's now been charged with murder. Prosecutors in New York City charged him late last night, according to online court records. So he's 26 years old, and he's facing a number of different charges. In fact, he had a loaded firearm, a forged instrument, criminal possession of a weapon, which was the silencer, and he still had all this material with him when he was captured. And this is one of the things that's really, I think, kind of, as you look at that, it's like, why would you keep all of this material? Wouldn't that be the first thing you would do? You've got to believe this guy wanted to be caught. There's really no other explanation than he wanted to be caught. But, why did he flee the scene? And, why didn't he just, because in terms of, he was dressed exactly the same way. He was carrying all these same materials that he, fraudulent IDs, and so a number of them, the weapons, the mask that he wore, all of these things. He was still in possession of all those, as well as a manifesto that he had written. And it's like, was he begging to be caught, or is he just that stupid? I really don't know the answer to that question. But I think many of us are left to wonder. So he apparently, in this manifesto, expresses disdain for the health insurance industry. And he said that health insurance companies, they only care about immense profit at the expense of Americans, he said. And he said the reality is that these companies have gotten too powerful. They continue to abuse our country for immense profit, he wrote. And then he went on to say, and he apologized for any trauma that he may have inflicted. And it seems like he's alluding then to the shooting of Brian Thompson. He said, so he apologized for any trauma, but said it had to be done. So this is really in something. He said, I do apologize for any strife of traumas, but it had to be done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. So he was charged with murder by New York prosecutors then late yesterday. He said that he worked alone on in both the murder and the manifesto he's writing, that he was working alone. And the more we're learning about him, the more distressing it becomes. So the suspect now is under arrest, charged with, and he was caught at a McDonald's of all places, is where he was caught, sitting in the back of a McDonald's. He had a similar gun and silencer to the ones that were used in last week's shooting. He also carried 4 fake IDs, according to the New York Post. One of them matched the name on the ID used on that the suspected gunman then used to check into that hostel in New York. So a senior law enforcement official told the New York Times that Mangione listed grievances against healthcare companies for putting profits above care in the document. So again, this was a manifesto that he had written, and he now has been charged. And you've got to wonder if there will be additional charges forthcoming. Once they get him and more thoroughly have an opportunity to investigate his actions. But right now he's facing 1 count of murder, 2 counts of second-degree criminal possession of a weapon, 1 count of second-degree possession of a forged document, 1 count of third-degree possession of a weapon. This is according to online documents that are out there. So he has been arrested, and authorities are confident that he is and certainly as you read what he's written in the manifesto, it certainly sounds like he's it. One law enforcement official told the Associated Press that Mangione claimed to have committed the shooting, and the document says, to the feds, I'll keep this short because I do respect what you do for our country. To save you a lengthy investigation, I state plainly that I wasn't working with anyone. I do apologize for the strife or traumas, but it had to be done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. This is just absolutely incredible. This is interesting. This is a story from Fox News. And Trace Gallagher spoke to a former FBI special agent, Maureen O'Connell. And she said, now keep in mind, law enforcement are used to being able to assess the profiles of folks that commit these kinds of crimes. She was, a former FBI special agent. And she said, he's a graduate of the University of Pennsylvania, valedictorian of his elite high school. And so she says he probably was always told he was smarter than everyone else. And she said, I think he feels he's smarter than everybody else. Probably always been told that. And someone convinced him of that, she said. She also said he seemed to have planned for everything leading up to the shooting and the shooting itself, but not the aftermath of the crime. Yeah, it doesn't seem that way, does it? Because that's where why would you still have all that? If you're going to carry something like that out, wouldn't you even have, you thought about how you're going to do it? Clearly he did that, had given that incredible amount of thought, actually waited in the right place and for the right time, let other people were passing by, was not a mass shooter. He was looking specifically for the CEO of United Healthcare. So if you're going to go to all of that trouble to be there and know how you're going to carry it out, you don't give any thought to what you're going to do afterward? I mean, one of the things that's so amazing to me about this whole thing is when someone carries out a crime like that, there really is, there's no hiding. There, in America today, there isn't. I mean, when your photo is all over the news, where are you going to go? Where somebody is not going to recognize you. And especially when he's wearing he was wearing very similar clothes, same mask, he's carrying all the same stuff. That to me is just like, this guy is brilliant. doesn't seem all that brilliant to me, fortunately. So he's now facing murder charges. That is a very big story this morning. Also, Daniel Penny was found not guilty yesterday. Remember now, Penny was facing charges of criminally negligent homicide in the death of Jordan Neely. Remember, he had held him in a chokehold because Jordan Neely was a threat to other people on New York Transit. So Daniel Penny being found not guilty yesterday. So that came after jurors had told the court Friday morning they couldn't reach an agreement, and then prosecutors moved to dismiss it, prompting the judge to allow them to only deliberate the second charge. And based on legal minds, that would have likely have gotten tossed out anyway. But the jury found him not guilty. So Daniel Penny, remember now, he's a Marine veteran and currently an architecture student. Celebrating this, and you've got the family of Neely, his father, Andre Zachary, had to be escorted out of the courthouse, along with several Black Lives Matter leaders, and they were there was a lot of anger in regard to this. So they're out there and a lot of screaming and shouting, and how justice is we've seen this before. This, I can't say this is really surprising in terms of the reaction. So the Daniel Penny, the question is, did justice prevail in the Daniel Penny case? And for some, definitely not. But for many of us, I've got to believe that that's we're looking at this much differently. So Neely's father spoke outside the courthouse, claiming the system is rigged. He had a BLM leader calling for Black vigilante action. And I'm not too concerned with what they're saying. The BLM, I think they have become increasingly marginal. They're in the margins. But as far as Neely's father, he said, "I just want to say I miss my son. My son didn't have to go through this. I didn't have to go through this either. It hurts, really, really hurts. What are we going to do, people? What's going to happen to us now? I've had enough of this. The system is rigged. Come on, people, let's do something about this." Maybe you should have done something about your son. I'm just saying. I don't want to sound like I'm heartless or that I don't care, but where was the time for concern was when he was raging at people on board that New York transit system. Where were all of these people then? I mean, I think let's be candid, that's a question that many of us are asking. So Daniel Penny being found not guilty yesterday. Also, I got such a stack of stuff here this morning. I want to try to keep it all, as we go through the course of the morning, I want to keep it all organized so I can come back to it. Also, Pete Hegseth thanking senators for their advice. And this is a story from Fox News. And he talked to Sean Hannity about where he's at in the confirmation process and his meeting with Iowa Senator Joni Ernst. And Hegseth said his meeting with Ernst, it was a great meeting. People don't really know this. I've known Senator Ernst for over 10 years. I knew her when she was a state senator running to be the first female combat veteran, he was saying. And we supported her in that effort, and we have continued to. And he said, you get into these meetings and you listen to senators. It's an amazing advice and consent process. And you hear how thoughtful, serious, substantive they are on these key issues that pertain to our Defense Department. And Joni Ernst is front and center on that, he said. So to be able to have phone calls and meetings time and time again to talk over the issue is really, really important. The fact that she's willing to support me through this process means a lot, Hegseth says. So now, Senator Ernst also yesterday, now she and Hegseth met yesterday afternoon. So you're hearing Hegseth's comments after the meeting with Iowa Senator Joni Ernst yesterday, because he was on Hannity last night. And also following this conversation, Ernst said, following our encouraging conversations, Pete committed to completing a full audit of the Pentagon and selecting a senior official who will uphold the roles and value of our servicemen and women based on quality and standards, not quotas, and who will prioritize and strengthen my work to prevent sexual assault within the ranks, Ernst said. As I support Pete through this process, I look forward to a fair hearing based on truth, not anonymous sources. That's what Senator Lindsey Graham had said, something similar to that let's have a fair hearing. And if there are people that are making accusations, let's have those people step forward and actually, so no anonymous sources, actually step forward, say who you are, go on the record. And if you're not willing to do that, then have a fair hearing based on truth. This is Breitbart reporting. I've got a number of different stories on this. And Breitbart says, after a groundswell of conservative backlash over her coolness to Hegseth's nomination, which is true. I'm getting emails from folks on this. Ernst has inched closer and closer toward a vote to confirm him at the Pentagon. So, Hegseth saying their meeting went very, very well. And I don't think there are any additional comments here from Senator Ernst. Hegseth said of Ernst that they had a great meeting yesterday. She had been dedicated to making the Pentagon work for warfighters for a long time. We had great extensive conversations about that, and I just appreciate her commitment to the process. We look forward to working together. So Pete Hegseth appears to be moving forward with his nomination. And Senator Joni Ernst, I know some of you have been frustrating, and I appreciate your email. Some of you have been frustrated regarding Senator Ernst and whether she's been the obstacle here. So they had another meeting yesterday, and that's the reaction from both Senator Ernst as well as Pete Hegseth. Other stories this morning. There was an apparent swatting call at the home of Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Greene was on social media yesterday saying that she was the subject of a bomb threat directed to her home. This is her home in Georgia. And she said the Rome Police Department's assistant chief received the threat via email, prompted a bomb squad then to be sent to her home. She said this isn't the first time she'd been the subject of a swatting call. She's been swatted, she said, at least 9 times. So that's a swatting call is when you have a false call, 911 call that comes in. False threat then. false allegations of some kind, and they can vary. And then generally you have the authorities being dispatched to get there, and it turns out there's nothing going on. So Green says this email was traced to a Russian IP address. And so she promised to work with local and federal law enforcement, as well as the FBI, to try to find out who's responsible for this. So there was also, as authorities were responding, a traffic accident took place involving one of their officers. And the officer, they said, involved in a traffic accident, created significant travel delays. Sounds like no indication here that the officer was injured or severely injured. But Green said she's heartsick over the accident. She says it claimed the life of a woman and injured a police officer. So she said, I was just informed that an innocent woman died today in an auto accident involving a member of the Rome police bomb squad was responding to the threat at my home. This Representative Green. So she said these violent political threats have fatal consequences, she said. Other big stories this morning. Let's take a look over at the Hill. Liz Cheney blasting Donald Trump's threat to jail the January 6th committee members. Now, what Donald Trump actually said was he would like to see them in jail. Was he going to direct the FBI to along those lines? He said, no, absolutely not. So let's be clear about what it is that Donald Trump actually said a few days ago. And that's a look at the big stories this morning. 627, partly cloudy, and 28 currently at Kello. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
Robbins, weekdays at 2.
Okay.
107.9.
The Kello Hotline is brought to you by Tire. See in-store details.
Doing this show is like a sprint, and you sprint from 6 minutes after I start sprinting, and I sprint until now. And it's like, oh man, okay, I can take a breath, get my thoughts.
Designed to help you feel better and stronger. We're here for you.
There's a lot more I wanted to share with you. I'll do it over the course of the morning.
World of endless possibilities. Visit avera.org/orthopedics and start.
We get into these stories in a little bit more detail. Coming up, we'll run down trending stories for you this morning. It gives you a little broader view of, rather than just the big stories, gives you a broader view of what's trending with people out there. Not a lot, actually, this morning. And I think for one reason, because of that United Healthcare killer, that story's huge. So a lot of the stories that are trending are surrounding that, and so going through all of it's repetitive in a hurry. All right.
Is proven to slow GA progression. Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around the eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
6:30, partly cloudy and 28 at Kello. Joe Bowman's in the Kello.com News Center coming up. Sioux Falls man behind bars charged with murder after a deadly stabbing over the weekend. Also, the search is still on for a second suspect involved in the shooting at the Empire Mall last Friday night. Joe will have details on those stories and more coming up for you in moments here at Kello.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. Man United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson's murder in New York last week. 26-year-old Luigi Mangione.
I know how he feels, frog in his throat.
In some dark corners, this killer
Always come at the worst
being
moments.
hailed as a hero. Hear me on this. He is no hero.
Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. Police say Mangione had the gun believed to have been used in the shooting and a manifesto critical of corporate America when he was spotted and arrested at a McDonald's in Altoona. It's 50 years in prison for a polygamous sect leader in Arizona.
Samuel Bateman had pleaded guilty to a years-long scheme to transport girls across state lines for his sex crimes and later to kidnap someone from protective custody. Prosecutors say Bateman's small group was an offshoot of the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Fox's Tom Rigotti of wildfires forcing evacuations in Malibu, California. America's listening to Fox News.
News brought to you by Sioux Falls Implant and Sedation Dentistry. They fix your teeth while you sleep.
Kello News Time, 6:31. I'm Joe Bowman in the Kello.com News Center. A Sioux Falls man is behind bars charged with murder after a deadly stabbing over the weekend. Police say 30-year-old Juan Flores was arrested, accused of killing 39-year-old Alonzo Little early Saturday morning. Officers were called to a home around 6:30 a.m. in northwest Sioux Falls and arrived to find Little's body. A few hours later, police located Flores in Little's vehicle. Investigators say Flores told them
There really
that
is
he
not
and
much
victim
news
had met a
trending
week
this morning.
earlier on a dating app. The two reportedly got into an argument while on drugs that led to the stabbing. This is the city's 15th homicide this year. Sioux Falls police are searching for a second suspect involved in that shooting at Empire Mall last Friday night. Investigators believe two people potentially fired shots after recovering 3 guns and 3 bullet casings from the scene inside the mall. 2 or 3 shots were reportedly heard. SFPD says the shooting may be gang-related. Absenteeism among South Dakota's Native American students is more than double the state average. A study by South Dakota Newswatch shows chronic absenteeism among Indigenous students runs at 54% compared to the state average of 21%. Experts say poverty is a major contributing factor. Great Bear Ski Valley is set to kick off the season this week. Pass holders get to have early access this Thursday. The hill will be open to the general public on Friday. Great Bear says capacity will be limited and day tickets must be bought online beforehand. It's also possible that tubing opens by the holiday break, depending on the weather. And in sports, Minnesota's Anthony Edwards is having to put his money where his mouth is. The NBA fined the Timberwolves guard $25,000 after he used explicit language during a post-game interview following their victory over Golden State last Friday. And in college basketball, the South Dakota Coyotes take on Wyoming tonight in Vermillion. From the Kello.com News Center, I'm Joe Bowman.
The news never stops. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
Cloudy skies today with scattered flurries or light snow showers, while the high temperature of 32. Northwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Cloudy this evening and tonight, flurries and light snow showers will continue. Will fall to 2 degrees. Cold day tomorrow, partly sunny, high of 14. Strong northwest winds of 15 to 30. Right, have a landlocked out there, HD Storm Center. I'm Scott Martin.
Your source for the latest news all day, every day. Wake up with us and check back all day long. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
Yesterday, I told you about the #1 holiday email scam, the iPhone giveaway. But there's yet another major scam, and it's hoodwinking almost as many people. I'm Kim Commando for T-Mobile. Their advanced network now goes farther than ever before. Visit T-Mobile.com/55. This holiday scam looks as if it's coming from multiple criminals. In reality, it's only one very big scam, an email or text appearing to come from the post office, FedEx, UPS, Amazon, Temu, Target, or anyone else, claiming that they've sent you a package, but they can't deliver it because of some sort of vague problem with your zip code or your physical street address. If you do get this, just delete it. All of them tell you to click the attached link to correct the delivery problem.
Don't click the link.
Clicking that link will instantly load malware to siphon off all your banking information and all your passwords. You got to be smart and question everything. 600,000 people start their day with my free newsletter. Sign up at getkim.com. Hey friends, Kim here. You know, it seems the older you get, the savvier you become at saving money. I really hate to overspend on things, especially the necessities. But thanks to T-Mobile, I don't have to worry about overpaying for wireless service, so I've got more time and money to spend on other things. At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a month per line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, Scam Shield Premium is included, which means fewer scam calls and more tools to help you optimize and organize your mobile life. Experience all this and more with T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network. Don't miss out. Get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for $30 a month per line at T-Mobile. Visit T-Mobile.com or your local store to make the switch and save.
With autopay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off. AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details. Capable device required for Scan Shield. Turning on Scan Block might block calls you want. Disable anytime.
The Kim Commando Show, live Saturday mornings at 9. Callow News Talk 1320 107.9.
The Kello Hotline is brought to you by Tires, your Give You More tire and automotive store. Financing programs available. 2 Sioux Falls locations to serve you.
Bring charm from the outdoors into your home with Renewal by Anderson picture and combination windows. Optimizing a beautiful view and light in the bedroom, kitchen, or living room from ABC Seamless of Sioux Falls. Call 605-646-2667 today. That's ABC Seamless. Creating a holiday memory to last a lifetime is the Diamond Room specialty. You'll find unmatched customer service and an array of luxury jewelry for any budget. Don't wait until the last minute. Visit the Diamond Room by Spectre. There is no comparison.
If you're a business owner, or if you know a business owner, this message is for you. At Bank Midwest, we understand that your company's operating account is one of your most important financial.
I got a small little heater that I keep. I just get so cold anymore. I'm on blood thinners since the stroke. And this time of the year, I am freezing all of the time. Even when it's not, for most folks, it's not that cold. For me, I'm like, oh. That's why you'll see me wearing a sweater so often. I get a heater running right down. And I never used to be cold. I was hot all the time, overweight. When you're overweight, you're always hot.
$35 activation fee. That's a lot of money for a
okay.
Now, Pure Talk, which is my cell phone company, has a better option. You can get a brand new iPhone 14, which has all the bells and whistles you ever need, as you get unlimited talk and text, 15 gigs of data, mobile hotspot, and you get it for $50 a month. How about that? Now, just dial pound 250, say the keyword save now. Do it now, you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Plus, when you dial pound 250, keyword save now, guess what? You know you're getting the best customer service in America. Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
Okay, some mornings you might not have that get up and go.
Ooh, but at least you can get up and go.
The Greg Belfrage Show, with insightful opinions on the latest stories and frequent weather updates. It'll get you in the know while you're getting ready to go.
$6:39, partly cloudy and 28. Good morning, my friend. Welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. This hour brought to you by the window shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month. You folks are terrific. Yesterday, near the end of the show, I said, hey, we're really close to getting 300 I think it was 300 subscribers on YouTube. We were one away. Yeah, we were at 299. And I said, so I need one more subscriber. We hit the 300 mark, and then so 5 more subscribers. So we were at 304 this morning. So my thing, I put out the call, and you all always respond. I appreciate that so much.
What's trending now?
Add them on Facebook.
Let the tweeting begin. The hashtag does that. News and views from Belf's News Gallery.
Well, the New York Police Department provided an update on the arrest of Luigi Mangione yesterday. He is facing charges now. Charges were filed late yesterday. And so they said he was arrested at a McDonald's in Altoona on Monday after an employee who was told by a customer that Mangione fit the description of this suspected killer. The McDonald's employee then contacted police. And so he is now, at the time the story was written, he had not been facing charges were filed last night. So he is facing a number of different charges. I shared those with you earlier this hour. And the Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro said the attention that the case has garnered online, people are celebrating the killer. And this is just like bizarro world stuff to me, you know, like who in the world would celebrate that this guy is dead? I mean, wow, who celebrates this? It's just absolutely, these are dark people. And that's what Josh Shapiro is saying. He's saying that Thompson, who was, left behind a wife and children, and he said, we do not kill people in cold blood to resolve policy differences or express a viewpoint. No, many of us don't. Absolutely correct. Some of these leftist crazies, though, do. And this is what you're seeing. And he said, I understand people have real frustration with our healthcare system, and I've worked to address that throughout my career, but I have no tolerance, nor should anyone, for one man using an illegal ghost gun to murder someone because he thinks his opinion matters most in a civil society. We are all less safe when ideologues engage in vigilante justice in some dark corners. This killer is being hailed as a hero. Hear me on this. He is no hero. The real hero in this story is the person who called 911 at McDonald's. The real heroes every day in our society are the women and men who put on uniforms like these and go out in our communities to keep us safe. Incredibly well said by Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, who would have been such a better choice than Tim Walz for Kamala Harris. All right. Also, police divers now are combing through underwater areas of New York Central Park. They're looking for any evidence that may have been discarded there, because we know if you followed this story, the trail of the killer as he was fleeing the scene, he went through Central Park. He had grabbed I forget the name of the bike that he was on. But he had grabbed a bike at one point, got several blocks away, and used the bicycle then. So when it was understood, there's a pond in Central Park close to the escape route that was used. Pictures in the media show divers searching around it's a boating lake, is what it is. So they're searching around the lake and looking for any evidence that they can find. So some of this is dated, the shell casings and so on. So I'd rather, some of this story is trending, but it's relying on information that's prior. now we know exactly what charges he's facing, so on. Other stories trending this morning. Daniel Penny has been found not guilty in the death of Jordan Neely. So that verdict comes 3 days after the judge had dismissed the manslaughter charge against Penny. So the judge's ruling on Friday left the jury then to consider a lesser charge of criminally negligent homicide against Penny, and they found him not guilty. And so Neely's father and his attorney actually were asked to leave the courtroom. And they held a news conference outside of the courthouse minutes after the verdict was read. And Neely's family, the family attorney, said the jury had let the family down. We're devastated, upset, angry, hurt over and over again. We keep coming to the system, asking the system to let us know that our lives have value. It's a really unfortunate situation. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg said the jury had spoken. He deeply respects the jury process and the jury's verdict, he said. He said during the trial, prosecutors and their family members were besieged with hate and threat. He said, simply put, this is unacceptable. And everyone, no matter your opinion on this case, should condemn it, he said. Also, Mike Tyson is being sued in a London court for over $1.5 million for breaking a deal to promote a gambling company in order to fight Jake Paul recently. So this is a Cyprus registered company that promotes online casinos and betting company Rabona. So they are suing Tyson for allegedly reneging on a deal he had with them, which was agreed in January. And so the lawsuit was filed at London's High Court in October. Tyson terminated the deal in March, the same day his fight with Paul was announced, claiming that actually this company had breached their agreement. But they're arguing their actions did not constitute a breach of the deal. And so the Tyson's breach of contract caused them losses of around €1.5 million. So they're filing a lawsuit against Mike Tyson. Also, a woman was killed in a traffic accident yesterday with a police officer responding to that bomb threat, the home of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. So Greene is from Georgia, and she said in a statement that her local police department in Rome received the bomb threat via email. And as they were on their way there, apparently, an officer was involved in a traffic accident, and the collision resulted in the death of the other driver, according to police. So the bomb squad ruled out any dangers at Greene's residence and have now turned the investigation over to the FBI, saying that the FBI traced the threat's origin to a Russian IP address. So that threat directed at Greene comes in wake of multiple false threats made against various members of Congress. Also, megastar Jay-Z is denying accusations in a lawsuit that he and Sean Diddy Combs raped a 13-year-old girl more than 20 years ago. So the complaint was amended over the weekend in U.S. District Court in New York to add Jay-Z as a defendant, because it had originally just been filed against only Sean Combs. So now Jay-Z is part of this, and he said his entertainment company assailed the lawyer for the anonymous accuser and said these allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? Anyway, the statement called the lawsuit's claims idiotic, something that would be laughable, not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids. Other stories that are trending this morning. Juan Soto not signing with the Boston Red Sox, instead has inked a new contract with the New York Mets. Soto is joining the New York Mets on a 15-year, get a load of this, are you ready? $765 million contract. Wow, that is absolutely incredible. So the Red Sox is saying, well, they're still in the mix for Soto as of, this was over the weekend. But Boston's last and final offer to Soto was around $700 million for 15 years. Just can't imagine that. 15-year deal worth $760 million. Absolutely incredible. Also trending this morning, the USDA announced on Friday that companies handling raw milk, which has not been pasteurized, must collect and share samples of their products upon request. So this is meant to identify which dairy herds are infected by the bird flu that has caused an outbreak in over 700 herds in 15 states. So USDA saying these companies that handle raw milk, which has not been pasteurized, need to collect and share samples of their products when requested. Also, President Joe Biden established the Carlisle Federal Indian Boarding School National Monument yesterday to memorialize a dark chapter in U.S. history, which was the era of Native American boarding schools. So the president said that after speaking to tribal leaders over the past 4 years, he felt it was really important for the president to stand up and right a wrong that had been ignored for a long time, he said. We're not about erasing history. We're about recognizing history, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I apologize for the federal Indian boarding school era, a dark chapter, said Joe Biden. Other stories that are trending this morning really are, and I think in part because generally it depends on the day, but when you've got a big story like the identification of the shooter and of the CEO of United Healthcare, so many stories that wind up trending are all related to that. So there are not a lot of other stories that are out there and trending this morning as we talk about, I mentioned Governor Josh Shapiro and the remarks that he made yesterday. That's one of the stories that's trending. And I really appreciate what Shapiro was saying. In some dark corners, This vigilante is being hailed as a hero. Let me be clear. He is no hero. The real hero is the person who called 911 at McDonald's this morning. So now McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, where an employee then identified this Luigi Mangione. Now users are leaving reviews for McDonald's locations in or around Altoona, with dozens of people leaving 1-star ratings and complaining about rats. Others called out snitches. So these are critical reviews on Google. And one reviewer said this location has rats in the kitchen that will make you sick, and your insurance isn't going to cover it. This is just crazy. I mean, I see this, and the people who do this stuff, it's just absolutely shocking. So prosecutors in New York City last night did charge Luigi Mangione with murder late last night, and he is facing a number of different charges. The Mangione's family, my heart goes out to them, because he's in the news for his own actions. Now their family being thrust into the spotlight through no fault of their own and nothing that they've done. And so Mangione's family said in a statement they are shocked and devastated by his arrest. We only know what we have read in the media. Our family is shocked and devastated by Luigi's arrest. We offer our prayers to the family of Brian Thompson, and we ask people to pray for all involved. We are devastated by this news. And that's a look at the stories trending this morning in Belf's News Gallery. 6:57 this hour of the Greg Belfrage Show. Brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
And a cell phone to make your mark.
Well, thank you so much, my friend, for starting your day with the Greg Belfrage Show. Hope to see you again at 9:30 for the 4th hour, or back here tomorrow. So long until next time. You take care.
Connected directly to sellers, so you can inspect and bid on quality equipment with confidence.